sound impressive in themselves, but working together, the craftsmen in these trades produced the man-made miracle that we know today as the Forbidden City.
故宫的金黄色本身，琉璃瓦本身，但是它也有很多的技术细节。它在很小很小的地方，你看很多影壁，很多这个装饰性的构件上头，那个琉璃构件当中呢，它的雕刻又是非常非常细微的。甚至于这个太和殿的这个瓦呀，铜瓦的每一个瓦头上雕的那条龙，它的每一个鳞片都应该是用人工，就是做完模子以后再用人工雕刻一次。所以你想想这个精细的程度，又和它的这个体量的巨大，又成了一个非常鲜明的对比。所以我觉得这个在艺术成就上，它的高度统一的这种面貌和这个非常丰富多彩的装饰，构成了一个和谐的整体。
The dark bricks that comprise the floor of the Hall of Supreme Harmony have long been looked upon in awe and referred to as gold bricks. Even today, making replicas of these bricks is an impossible task.
金砖比较大的尺寸呢，就当时叫做2尺2，是吧？或者2尺，那是金砖尺寸很大的了。而且它的工序非常非常复杂，它实际上规定了很多工序呢，就是要求它这个加热的过程啊，是一个非常均匀。所以它规定的要用这个糠啊，用炉柴啊，用松柴啊，最后用大木柴啊，这样一个烧制的过程。那么它规定整个烧制过程要100多天。这砖最后达成一个什么样的质量标准呢？就是所谓的这个敲起来啊要有金属的声音，但是如果把它砸断的话，不能有任何的沙眼和裂纹。这我觉得这金砖的烧制呢，应该说是明代取得的一个很高的成就。在宋的营造法式的记载当中，是没有这种工艺的。
Of all the buildings inside the Forbidden City, the Hall of Supreme Harmony is the largest, and in the years it was built, it was both the tallest building in the city of Beijing and the largest wooden construction in the world. The Hall of Supreme Harmony occupies an area of 2,381 square meters, half the size of a modern-day soccer field. The Hall of Supreme Harmony stands on an 8-meter-tall white marble base at the very center of the Forbidden City, and it is the climax of the palace complex. It not only mirrors the highest attainment of traditional Chinese architecture, but also embodies age-old Chinese philosophies. If one looked southward from the just completed Forbidden City, one would have seen another royal building complex under construction that was about the same size, the Temple of Heaven. Inside the grounds of the Temple of Heaven stands Qinian Hall, which means the Hall of Prayers for a Good Harvest. This magnificent structure includes 28 huge pillars of a kind of mahogany known as Nanmu wood, along with wooden tiers, brackets and other parts joined together to form a wonderful whole. The arrangement of the pillars implies a profound meaning. The inner 4 suggests the 4 seasons of the year, the 12 in the middle stand for the 12 months of the year, and the outer 12 the 12 periods of a day. Together, they represent the 28 constellations of the universe. Magnificent in appearance and exquisite in detail, the inside of the hall shrinks to the center as the height increases, giving the building a stately demeanor as befits its purpose to elicit in the beholder an awesome respect for the power of heaven. This effect is enhanced by the solemn-looking eaves on top of the building and the round white marble stand at the bottom. The reputation of the Chinese products Zhang He took with him brought him considerable honor and made him welcome everywhere he visited. On his sixth voyage, he reached the African coast. There, 1,200 envoys from 16 African and Asian countries boarded his ships and returned with them to China. Back in Beijing, the Ming Emperor had to arrange for 40,000 rolls of silk and brocade to be collected from around the country to present as gifts to these foreign envoys. Among those who wanted to see the legendary civilization of China was the 28-year-old King of Borneo. Unfortunately, however, after arriving in China, he fell seriously ill, and a couple of months later, he died. The Ming Emperor honored him with the title Prince Gung Shuan, and in accordance with his wishes, he was buried in a suburb of Nanjing City. His tomb can still be seen there today.
Even before the Ming Dynasty, China had been sending diplomatic missions overland to the West. For centuries, private trade had extended as far as East Africa. However, never before had a government-sponsored mission with the grandeur of Zheng He's fleet been organized. His voyages were a vivid demonstration of the economic and cultural prosperity of the Ming Dynasty.
Zheng He's fifth voyage was a somewhat hurried affair, probably due to a grand ceremony held to commemorate the moving of the capital to Beijing, although this is just a guess made by scholars of later generations. By the year 1420, the Forbidden City was almost complete, and the emperor issued orders that the colossal Yongle bell be completed at the same time. With this, dozens of furnaces were fired to release the molten bronze into the mold to cast the giant bell.
那么他当时要画那么多50吨的金属料，那是不简单，哎，就是他必须要用质量很好的纯铜，哎，纯锡、纯铅来配，哎，称量要准确，在融化的时候不能有过多的氧化，哎，因为锡跟铜跟铅的氧化率是不一样的，你假如不控制好，那么成分就会出现波动。那么现在从化验结果来看，它这个成分还是相当的理想。
In 1420, the year the Forbidden City was completed, the huge bell was successfully cast, and it was named after the reign of the emperor, Yongle. The sound that emanates from this bell is fine indeed. One knock creates an echo that lasts as long as 2 minutes, and the sound is very musical. Today, we know the precise percentages of the metals in the alloy. It is 80.5% bronze and 16% tin, while the remaining 3.5% contains lead, zinc, and magnesium. These ingredients, besides making the bell very strong and helping it produce a pleasant sound, enable it to withstand rust. It is hard to imagine just how many tests would have been needed to come up with the correct percentages for this alloy 500 years ago. After all these years, the bell still produces a pleasant sound. Making it required a thorough mastery of metallurgy, casting, mechanics, and acoustics, so it is little wonder that in Encyclopedia Britannica, the Yongle bell comes first in the list of the world's most famous bells. When the Forbidden City was finally completed in the year 1420, it was a man-made marvel, a testament to the numerous ingenious engineers who built it in what was still in Europe the Middle Ages. The Great Wall, which the Ming Dynasty had continued to build, began near the sea at Shanhai Pass in China's east and ended at Jiayu Pass in China's west. It stretched all the way from China's eastern coast to China's northwest, an area dominated by sand and wind. Most of the Great Wall was built on the tops of hills and mountains to follow the terrain, thus highlighting the shape of zigzagging mountain ranges like a huge dragon. For this reason, the Great Wall is viewed as the symbol of the Chinese nation, and together with the Egyptian pyramids and the Taj Mahal in India, it is regarded as one of the world's truly great historic engineering marvels.
我觉得明朝至少有2点
它的制造业有2点我们是值得我们今天来肯定的。第一点就是它在制造工艺水平上，它应该集中国制造业之大成。另外一个呢，就是呢，它已经开始从传统的手工制造业向近代化的这个工业的转型。因此呢，我们可以说明朝的制造业，无论是在质量上还是在规模上，都是空前的。
The Yongle Encyclopedia, compiled during the Ming Dynasty, was the largest of all the great written works compiled in ancient China. In the year 1637, Song Yingxian of the Ming Dynasty published Tiangong Kai Wu, or Exploitation of the Works of Nature, a comprehensive book covering science and handicraft technology. Another man named Xu Guangqi wrote Nongzhang Chuanchu, or the Encyclopedia of Agriculture. After 30 years of extensive travelling, Xu Xiaoke published Travel Notes by Xu Xiaoke, which describes China's geology in great detail. Li Shijian, who lived in the middle of the Ming Dynasty era, wrote the voluminous Compendium of Materia Medica, held to be the most comprehensive medical book in Chinese history. The Ming Dynasty boasted a long list of established thinkers and literary men. The philosophical studies of Wang, Yang, Ming, for example, reflected a profound exploration of human life unmatched in any previous dynasty. The famous classical novels Journey to the West, Heroes of the Marshes, and Romance of the Three Kingdoms were all written during the Ming Dynasty, as was the famous classical play, The Peony Pavilion. Crafts of all kinds went through a time of great advance during the Ming Dynasty. The long list of extraordinary achievements, including the Great Wall, the Forbidden City, and Zheng He's voyages to the Western Seas, crowned the dynasty in glory, to say nothing of the renown brought to the time by China's dreamlike silk, brocade, and porcelain, all of which charmed the entire Western world.
In the 16th and 17th centuries, Ming China was the most developed country in the world in terms of its craftsmanship and economy. The list of its achievements is long and extraordinary, including the strengthening of the Great Wall, the building of the Forbidden City, and Zheng He's voyages to the Western Seas. Products such as Chinese silk, brocade, and porcelain became much sought after in the rest of the world, and they still are today. Thank you for staying with us on New Frontiers, and tune in again next time when we'll bring you more of our series on Chinese civilization. I'm Ji Xiaojun from CCTV International. Bye.